89% of business leaders say AI is a top priority. But with AI tools popping up everywhere, how do you separate the helpful from the hype? The right choice is crucial, which is why teams at 1/3 of Fortune 500 companies use Grammarly. With over 15 years of experience building responsible, secure AI, Grammarly isn't just another AI communication assistant. It's how companies like yours increase productivity while keeping data protected and private. Designed to fit the needs of business, Grammarly is backed by a user-first privacy policy and industry-leading security credentials. This means you won't have to worry about the safety of your company information. Grammarly also emphasizes responsible AI, so your company can avoid harmful bias. See why 70,000 teams and 30 million people trust Grammarly at Grammarly.com/enterprise. That's Grammarly.com/enterprise. Grammarly, enterprise-ready AI.
All right, this is a quickie and it's straight talk. Here's what you need to do. You need to stop trying to get your partner on board to grow. You need to stop trying to help your partner to heal and change and see his stuff, to see where his wounds are, where he's going wrong. Too many women are parenting their partners, right? It is not your job to get a grown man into therapy. It is not your job to seek help for your grown man. Unless he is incapacitated, he has a brain injury, he cannot speak, he can't actually fend for himself, sure. But we're not talking about that, are we? We're talking about capable men that are choosing to show up the way that they do. They're choosing that because, listen, we have so much fucking information available to us online nowadays. There's no excuse. And even if you have a guy that's like, I'm not going to spend all that money and get a course, and I'm not going to go do online courses, and I'm not going to spend money on therapy and coaching and read stacks of books, fine. There is a endless array of awesome podcasts and even men leaders now talking to men about how to show up differently in relationships. They're free. Even if, just think about this, right? If your guy that's doing nothing, that's completely just flaking out on the relationship while you're trying to paddle for both of you on the boat that's going down, and he's just sitting there saying like, nothing's the problem, you're the problem, I don't have a problem, everything's fine over here, you're the one that has the problem. What if he just started to listen to like one really good podcast of a guy speaking into him how to show up as a man, and he started implementing some of those things, even just a handful of them, right? It would completely transform the relationship, but you're seeing nothing. And yet what you think that means is that you need to try harder, that you need to push harder, that you need to make more threats, that you need to make more ultimatums, that you need to have another conversation, a sit down, come to Jesus conversation, meeting. And you're trying to find help for him. I have had women reach out to me and say, do you work with men? Will you work with my guy? Or will you work with both of us? I'm trying to find help for him, or he's ready to heal and he needs help. He is fully capable. If he truly wants to change and do his work, he needs to be a grown-up and do it for himself. You are parenting your partner. You're infantilizing. How do you say that word? You're making him an infant, basically. He's your child. You're his mom. And like, think about this. Your kids get to an age where they're 18, 19, like my girls. I'm not calling and making them appointments anymore. I'll help them if they need a bit of guidance or some help finding someone, but I'm not making their appointments anymore with doctors and whatever it may be. Well, at least I'm trying not to. That doesn't mean I never will. But even what my point is they're 18 and 19. They're emerging adults. And they need to learn how to do these things on their own. So why is it that we women think that should be on our shoulders to advocate for a grown man and find him a counselor and find him help and send him podcasts about how he can be better? We have to realize when we're doing that is there's typically an unmet need. We're either not communicating or we have communicated and it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't change. And what that actually means is that we need to turn that energy toward ourselves and say, can I live with this man as he is? Can I live with the gaslighting, the complete invalidation, the emptiness of this relationship where none of my needs are getting met on any level? Maybe there's some areas that are okay. But if I had to stay in this relationship for the rest of my life, the kids are moved out and it's just me and him, can I accept this for what it is? We have to get to a place where we either fully accept it 100% or we reject it 100%, because what's in the middle of that is tolerating. And tolerating will inflame you. It will make you sick. It increases the markers for different serious diseases like autoimmune disease, cancers, tumors, inflammation, heart disease, high blood pressure, all of those things, especially as we get into our midlife, ladies. Being in these highly combative relationships where it's just everything is a fight, it will shorten your lifespan. It puts you at risk for more of those serious health challenges and health diagnoses, especially as you get into your perimenopausal years and your menopausal years, where you are at higher risk for those things anyways. When you're under constant stress from fighting and pushing and doing all the work for a grown man, you're putting yourself at greater risk for coming down with something like that. And if you have kids and you want to be there for your kids, then this is something you have to take seriously. So Dr. Tina Moore, I love her stuff. She is a functional medicine doctor, and she said that we are inflamed and we are immunocompromised from 4 to 6 hours after we've had an altercation or a spat or a tussle or a fight or an argument. And so if you think about this, think about how many times a day you're having these tussles, these moments. Maybe they're not big fights, but they're just these interactions that are stressful and irritating, and they're back and forth, and they're not fun, right? They're stressful. So think about if you're having even just 3 of those in a day, you're constantly in an immunocompromised, inflamed state then. And it's not really a surprise that she said this, because we know that stress increases inflammation, stress weakens our immune system, and that puts us at risk for autoimmune conditions and other health issues related to chronic levels of stress. So if you are trying to take on the work of your grown adult spouse and help him heal, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need you to help him heal. What you need to do instead is pour all of that energy and focus and find help for yourself. Find mentorship for you that's going to help you take ownership for your own life, because you cannot change a man. You cannot force a man. A man will not change unless he chooses that he wants to change. He decides it. There are so many men out there that would rather lose their wives who have dedicated themselves to them, their family unit, have to leave their homes, split their assets before they're going to want to change. So you have to get real with yourself and realize that if you are pushing for change and begging for change, you have to see your own sickness in that. You have to see your own disease in that. And that is a sign that you have to look within yourself to find out, why is it that I have taken this on as if it's my job to find him help? When a quick Google search, how can I validate my wife? Just do it. Google as if you were wishing it was coming from him. Just do it. Google. How can I make my wife feel more appreciated? How can I listen better to my wife? How can I improve my relationship with my wife? And he actually took those few tips and did them. Your relationship would be something totally different, wouldn't it? So we have to stop with this. He doesn't know how. He doesn't know what to do. He needs help finding help. He's not 5. So you have to realize that I understand where it's coming from. I'm not shaming anyone. I understand it's because you want things to get better. You want your family. You want the relationship. But at what cost? At what cost to you do you want this relationship? Because you're believing right now that If only you could change your partner or help him change and see the light to be the catalyst for his big awakening, then things would improve. This is a delusion, right? It's one of the delusions that we get into. So if you've already shared that you're in pain, that you want the relationship to continue, but you're feeling alone, that you're feeling sad, that you're feeling hurt, and that you're not feeling connected and you want to be, then you, instead of let me find you someone, even if he says, I'm willing to work with someone, but can you find me someone? No. If he wants to work on himself, he has to take 100% ownership for his work. You have to take 100% ownership for your codependency, for your dysfunction, for the side that you play, the part that you play in this dynamic is keeping it alive. Right now, you are a match to this right now. So as you address your own stuff, then you're changing who you are being. You're increasing your level of self-worth. You're feeling better about yourself. You're feeling more elevated. You're feeling more confident. You're feeling a little more clear because you're putting that energy into you. You're not bleeding into his side of the street, because that actually is a boundary violation as well. We have no right to try and force someone to do anything. And think about it. Do you really want to have a relationship with someone that you have to force to try and be a good person, to be a better partner? So when you do this work and you're addressing your own issues and you're realizing that you have codependent patterns and codependent traits, and you are getting wrapped up in the helping, enabling, rescuing, and overfunctioning that I teach in my Relationship Clarity Bootcamp, the hero role, when you stop all of those and you start putting that energy towards self, then you start changing. Your energy is changing. Your vibration is changing. How you feel about yourself is changing. And either, if you're wanting him to change, he will see these changes and be inspired and want to change and grow along with you, and he'll start initiating his own changes. He'll be booking his own therapy. He'll be doing it all on his own without putting any of that on you. Or he's just going to continue to coast along as he has been. And you'll eventually want to leave because it's not going to be a match anymore. You're going to be so disgusted by it and repulsed by it and repelled by it that you won't be able to stand being around that anymore because you have leveled up so much. Doesn't that sound much more empowering than, let me find you a counselor, let me Google some more things that you can read and things that you need to work on while you're not addressing any of your own stuff. So when you're doing your work, it's multifaceted because you're working on yourself, not for him, not to get an outcome with him, but you're doing it for yourself. If you have daughters, you're modeling that this is how love is, and they're going to see that, and they're not going to know what healthy love is. They are going to follow in your footsteps, or they can see you starting to get healthier, starting to take a stand, starting to take care of yourself, and you're changing how you're showing up. And as you're growing and changing, this relationship will eventually fizzle out because you will not be able to do it for one more day. You will feel so stifled because you've outgrown it. And you just let him do what he's doing. You let him be who he's being. Let it go. Just let it go. It is not your job to rehabilitate him and make him see the light. And now, when you've done this work, you make yourself more available to someone that's more aligned and on your level in the future. This is what is missing. Too many women jump from relationship to relationship without doing this work. So why don't you do it now while you're in the relationship? You may as well, right? If you're in a place where you're trying to figure it out and you're not sure what you want to do, then go all in on this. Do this work. If you want my help, check the link in the show notes for my courses and ways that I can help you. You do all of that work and put all the energy into transforming yourself. It's a win-win. There's no lose in that. You just lose a relationship that's clinging to your ankles that you can't move forward in your own life with. Or you make the decision to cut the cord and say, you're on your own and now I am figuring me out, so that you can get stronger and clearer and be able to walk away. All right, so that's the formula. That's what you need to do instead. So I challenge you to just really go on a fast. Stop trying to fix him. Stop trying to get him to see. Stop explaining. Stop giving him all the chances. Stop tolerating, and start putting all of that energy toward building yourself up.